Hello, 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 and welcome to something completely different. First things first, for those of you who actually found me through the ANR Peddler Draft link, congratulations. I applaud your sleuthing diligence and so glad and I hope you enjoyed finding the Easter egg that way. To NSG, thank you so much for doing the game, and thank you so much for including me in Scoop Season. It was an unexpected honor. Right up front, it's been a couple weeks at least, since I got my last game of Netrunner in, so I'm not super familiar with the latest tech and the greatest decks. But I've been playing for several years, couple tournaments, and run some little stuff. I've made my own little community in the past, and for those of you who have the time, please do check out some of the other vids in my ANR playlist or just YouTube site in general. Love the hell out of this game. All right, on to the moment of the pièce de résistance. Virtual Service Agent, 2 cost to res, 2 strength decoder, code gate that we have coming up in the next set. Whenever the runner passes this ice after encountering it, if they did not break its printed subroutine with a decoder during that encounter, give them 1 tag. Sub, the runner loses 1 credit. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. This card does not excite me in a vacuum. There are a couple reasons. And let's be clear. There's definitely value in any piece of ice, and so much of the card pool right now is a complete unknown that it's hard to really say what is going to work with what. So I'm leery of making any snap judgments. Uh, but yeah, let's take a peek. Sorry. So let's begin by looking at this card just for what it is. When you res a 2 credit cost card, you gotta immediately ask yourself, what could you have resed instead? What else could you have slotted in this slot? Because a 0 credit cost to res it puts you on a different power level from a 2 and a 3 and a 4, etc. And looking really quickly at the pool of NBN standard ice, specifically trying to focus on the code gates, you notice really quickly that there aren't a ton of these 2 credit costers. I've pulled a couple of them up here. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure TLDR is rotating soon. But in any event, Authenticator seems like the best comparison for a direct comparison that I can make. When the runner encounters Authenticator, they may choose to take a tag. But if they choose not to, they Corp gains 2 credits, so it's effectively a free res and a hard end the run. Okay. Um, Herald seemed significantly worse to me. It has the whole trap from archives ability, but other than that, gain 2 credits. The Corp may pay those 2 credits to advance cards. So it's a 2 credit gain for 2 credits. And the thing that's worth noting is let's go back to the actual scoop, virtual service agent. So the text on this that's interesting is that you need to break its sub, and it has to be broken with a decoder. And if you fail to do that, take a tag. So how this plays out in my head, on average, is in the early game gear check phase. The runner is running aggressively, hits this, loses a credit, and takes a tag. A tag they probably were hoping credit they probably need to remove that tag. Click in 2 credits, remove the tag. They've lost effectively 3 credits to your 2. Now they know it's there. If they ever need to get in again, it's effectively 3 credits and a click lost to just walk through it, which is something, until they get their decoder, specifically their decoder. Once they have their decoder, well, this is all of the decoders in standard. You'll notice that only a handful of them start at 1 strength. Notable one is Cat's Cradle because, criminals got a crim, but that gains a credit strength, gains strength for 1 credit. The rest of these start at 2. So the strength is not the competition. It's just triggering your break once and you're in for most setups that include one. That being said, we've seen a lot of bypass effects coming up in this next set. There's Estabrado. Let me see if it's already been added. I doubt it's been added to Netrunner DB already. No, it hasn't. So I can't pull it up quickly to show you guys. There's Estabrado, which is effectively a souped up inside job for centrals only. It does an inside job effect, but it can also let you use a click to do a double inside job effect. So, you know, that doesn't get around this penalty. You still take the tag if you bypass and get in. Um, there's also a runner ID that wants to sometimes not break subs, and that's all well and good, but this one punishes you for choosing not to break it. So there's some interesting interactions with the new cards coming, to be sure. Also, even if it's just a gear check, sorry, even if it's just a 1 credit tax, that is still a tax, and it's not like you paid top dollar for this. The card that I most like in this one too, the one that I compare it to immediately is Ping, and it's not a favorable comparison in my opinion. Ping is a barrier, which is obviously very different than a code gate. Res, it's a hard end the run. So the runner, just as surely as they want to break your -1 credit, they have to break your end the run. And when you first res it, you give the runner a tag. So the first time you waltz your way into Virtual Service Agent, you lose a credit and you take a tag if you weren't prepared. The next time you run into Virtual Service Agent, you're prepared and nothing happens. That's kind of it, right? So that feels to be rather limited in its scope. Uh, I am, however, a fan of this kind of gameplay where we have cards that specifically demand you run a standard breaker or a standard breaker set. Picture a different scenario where you are doing all kinds of shenanigans to get through your ice. You're using your Trojans so that you can break subroutines with Trojans. You're using your bypass abilities. You're trying to keep the court poor so that you don't have to deal with as much ice, etc., etc. Against a deck like that, a 2 credit to res that gives you a tag every time you go through it is kind of like what IP block was against AIs. Let me pull that up for those of you who don't remember off the top of your head. IP block, a card that's cheap to res, and if you're over reliant on AI, you're taking a heavy punishment just for having that AI at all. So I could definitely see a niche and a gameplay style where this becomes super relevant. As of the time of this recording, they've spoiled the Epiphany Analytica ID. Let me see if I can find that and pull that up. Here we go. Yes, this does not in any way, in my mind, directly seem to care about the virtual service agent. Nor for that matter did I think balanced coverage seem to really care about it. They're not specifically targeting this style of gameplay of run or lose a credit, run or lose a credit. So build around. What would I do if I was making a deck with this? I, if I recall correctly, GameNet is still going to be legal, but I don't remember if it's still considered banned or not. I think it's been brought off the ban list. I would say GameNet is probably the one ID that wants it the most, since it specifically includes the lose a credit, right? And during a run at that. So, uh, I would say that making the runner lose a credit to gain a credit, GameNet's always going to look at this card. And the added text of even if you have an alternate way of getting through ice early, slap down an AI and run, this is still going to hit you and tag you. That's really valuable to GameNet. So I would consider running it in the GameNet deck. And that's about all I've got for now. I know it's not my deepest of analyses, but there's just so much flux right now with cards coming in and out. It's hard to know what's going to be good and what's not. Personally, I'm definitely going to try running this in a you need to have breakers or else it doesn't work kind of way, but I don't see this being a 3 of in my deck unless it's, somehow building around that lose a credit text. That's all I got. Thank you all for watching. Again, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me build out content significantly. And do check out some of my other ANR clips from building and gameplay. And for those of you who are already familiar, have had the chance to do some peddler drafting, hit me up. I would love to play with you. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you guys next time.